Hello there. Welcome back to my channel Grammar Forward. I'm Sonia. Currently, I'm doing a series on English verb tenses, and we are already done with the simple and continuous forms of the present, past, and future tenses. Now we are moving on to the more advanced ones, which include the perfect and the perfect continuous tenses. So in today's video, we are going to take up the present perfect tense. Present perfect is a tense that links the past to the present in some way. So when we use a present perfect tense, we describe a situation that started in the past, continues up to the present, and will probably continue into the future. And this tense is considered to be the most difficult of all the tenses in the English language. And that's because many languages don't have an equivalent to this tense. So the speakers of those languages may find it difficult to understand the concept. But in this lesson, you are going to learn everything you need to know about this tense. So let's begin. So first of all, let's focus on the formation of this tense. So instead of giving you the rule right away, I have given you some examples on the board. So after we go through these examples, you are going to derive the rule regarding the formation of this tense. So let me give you some examples for the positive sentences. So here you have, I have eaten my lunch. I have eaten my lunch. But for she, you have, she has written the letter. So what have I done there? I have used has or have with the past participle form of the verb. So there's the rule for you. You have has or have plus the verb 3 form, that is the past participle form of the verb. So the negative is you just add the word not and you are ready with the sentence. So we have not played chess. He has not been to Italy. So here all that I have done is I added the word not after the helping verb have or has, and you have the negative sentence. And how do we form the questions? We just change the order of the words. So you start with the helping verb and that's followed by the subject, and then you have the past participle form of the verb. So first you start with have, the helping verb, then you have the subject and the V3 form of the verb. So have you seen this film? Has she gone to bed? So you can see that for the plural subjects, we use have and the singular subjects take has. And how do we form the WH questions? You just add the WH word in front of the yes or no question. So here you have, where have you gone? I added this WH word, where have you gone? Here you have, what has she cooked? So the yes or no question is, has she cooked? I just added the WH word here. So remember this, the rule is we just have the helping verb has or have plus the past participle form of the verb. So when do we use has? For singular subjects we have has, and for plural subjects we have. But when we use this tense, we need to be careful about how we form the past participle of the verb. You know that in English there are two kinds of verbs, regular and irregular verbs. What are regular verbs? If the past and the past participle forms are made just by adding an ed to the verb, we call those verbs regular verbs. So we have examples like played, visited, watched, returned, and so on. So here, how have I formed the present perfect tense? The rule is here, you have has or have plus the past participle form of the verb. So in this case, it is she. So she has played. She is singular. They, it's a plural subject. So we have they have visited. I just added ed because it's a regular verb. You have watched. You, plural, so have. He has returned. So what about irregular verbs? In their case, it's totally different. The past tense and the past participle forms are totally new words in their case. For example, you have we have eaten. I've used the same rule there. It's a plural subject, so I've used have, and the past participle of the verb eat is not eated as in this case, it's eaten, because eat is an irregular verb. He has slept, not sleep, he has slept. They have read. The base form is read, but a past tense and a past participle forms are read. Same spelling, different pronunciation. I have sent. You can see that the base form is send, S-E-N-D, but I've used the past participle in a different way. It's not sended, it is S-E-N-T. It's an irregular verb. Now let's see how the contractions are formed. So for I have, the short form is I've. We have, it is we've. You have, you've. They have becomes they've. He has, his. She has, she's. And it has becomes its. But then, what about the negative forms? For I, we, you and they, you have plus not. So I have not becomes I haven't. We haven't. You and they, the same, haven't. And for the singular pronouns, he, she and it, you have has and not. So he has not becomes he hasn't, she hasn't, it hasn't. But a word of caution here, the contraction his can be quite confusing sometimes. That's because his may stand for he is as well as he has. So let's go through these examples. Here you have he is my teacher. The second, he is visiting us today. So here this stands for he is my teacher and he is visiting us today. Now let's look at these two examples. He has bought a new car. He has been to the supermarket. And it's very clear that here it stands for he has. But how do we know whether it is he is or he has? To know whether it stands for he is or he has, just look at what follows his. Here you have he is bought a new car. So here you have the past participle form. In this example, again you have the past participle. So that means here we are talking about he has. In this case, you don't have a past participle. It is he is my teacher. He is visiting us today. So that stands for he is. Now let's look at the different ways in which the present perfect tense is used. So here is point number 1. It's used to refer to actions or situations that started in the past and continue to the present. That means we use this tense to talk about continuing situations or states. Example, they have been married for 40 years. So the present perfect is used have been. He has lived here all his life. I have known him since my childhood. You can see that here I have used mostly stative verbs or state verbs, and I've used words like for, since, etc. So when someone is asking about how long something has happened, we use the present perfect tense to answer, and it's usually paired with words like for, since, and so on. Present perfect tense could also be used when the time period referred to is not finished. That is, when we use an unfinished time word, we can use the present perfect tense. For example, I haven't seen her this week. We have had a lot of coffee today. You can see that I've used the time expressions this week and today, which refers to an unfinished time. So I can use the present perfect tense in these cases. But please note that we never use the present perfect tense with a finished time word. So we never use the present perfect tense when we have a word like yesterday or last Friday in the sentence. We can also use the present perfect tense to refer to actions that are repeated in an unspecified time period between the past and now. For example, I have read this book many times. So it's clear that this action has been repeated many times in a time period which is not specified between the past and now. She has traveled to the UK 3 times. Again, a repetitive action is shown here. We can also use the present perfect tense to talk about actions that were completed in the recent past. So let's take up these 2 examples. The government has just declared the results. So here the verb declare is in the present perfect form. You have has declared, but I've used the word just here to show that it happened recently. I've already sent the email. Again, you have sent used with already. So when used in this way, we use the present perfect tense with words like just, already, yet, recently, and so on. Yet another important use of the present perfect tense is when the precise time of the action is not known or is not important. That is, when the action took place is not important at all, rather we focus on the result of the action. For example, they have missed the bus. So the result of this happening is that they will be late today. So the result has more importance there. Someone has stolen my phone. Again, I have lost my keys. So the result is that I'm not able to enter my home. So here, in all these 3 cases, we don't know when the action took place, but the result has some importance even in the present time. Most importantly, the present perfect tense can also be used to refer to experiences up to the present. That is, when we talk about our life experiences, we can use the present perfect tense. So here you have some examples. I have seen that film before. So here we are not interested in when you watched that film. We just want to know whether you watched it. Again, that's the best place I have ever visited. So here the verb visit is in the present perfect form. You have visited, but you can see that I've used it with the adverb ever. So when we talk about our experiences up to the present, we use the adverb ever. And for the negative form, we use never. So here you have, I have never visited Russia. It's equally important to know when not to use the present perfect tense. This tense should never be used with adverbials that refer to a finished past time. On the other hand, we can use it with an unfinished time expression. So, let's have these examples. I have visited them yesterday. You know that this word yesterday refers to a finished past time. So, we cannot use the present perfect tense with that word. Instead, we can use an unfinished time expression like today. Again, we have bought a car last week. So when I talk about last week, we are referring to a finished past. So we have to change it to this week because that is an unfinished time expression. So when can we use it? We can use it with these time expressions which are unfinished, like today, this week, or this month, or since 2020, and so on. As always, before winding up, as a part of consolidation, let's look at some of the most common errors made while using the present perfect tense. So here is the first one for you. I worked every day this week. So here I have used the time expression this week and it refers to an unfinished period of time. So we cannot use the verb in the past tense. So this is wrong and we are going to use there the present perfect tense. So we have to use have worked with I. I have worked every day this week. The next one, they know each other since last year. Here again you can see that the keyword since is used. So that's a clear indication that we have to use the present perfect tense. So they know is wrong. We can't use the present simple here. It should be they have known each other since last year. Now the third question, did you read War and Peace? Here there is no reference to when the action was done. So we cannot use simple past here. It should be present perfect because here in this case we don't give any importance to when the action was done. It's all about the result of the action. So this should be not did you read, have you read. Now before it was did you read, now it has become have you read. The same spelling but different pronunciation because now we use the past participle form of read. The fourth one, did you have seen him before? This is a yes or no question and you can see that I have used the helping verb have here. So there is no need to use the helping verb did. Instead we have to change the order. So I will start with have you seen him before? Now moving on to the fifth question. She has wrote a new book. Here the mistake is with the form itself. I have used the present perfect but I haven't used the verb in the past participle form. So it should be she has written because the V3, the verb 3 form of write is written. She has written a new book. Here is the last question for you. I am here since last week. I have used the word since. So that has to be paired with present perfect tense but I have used here present simple. So I have used the present simple form of be here. So that is to be removed and we have to change it into present perfect. So with I will use I have and the past participle form of be will be been. So you have I have been here since last week. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you benefited from this lesson and if you found this video interesting, please do like it. If you are new with me, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So meet you in the next session. Goodbye until then. Take care and stay safe.